Hey guys, back in the garage again, working on Lucky. I did one change in this garage. Take a look and let me know if you see it. All right, it's not the mess. And I didn't clean the workbench off. I'm sure that got a chuckle. I got fire extinguishers. One there, and I put one over there. I never had any fire extinguishers in this garage. You know what I had? This was the extent of my fire suppression system. That jug of water right there. I mean, I have the hose over there on the wall, and there's a spigot on the side of the house right over here. But I didn't have anything in here to quickly put something out. And I had gotten a comment. They're like, hey, Al, you should really let, anybody know that you got to be careful with these sparks between the welding and the grinding and everything. And I'm like, that's when the light bulb went off. I'm like, let me go out and get some fire extinguishers just in case. Because these, welding and everything with all the sparks, it could cause a fire. And I hope right now that there's not somebody looking at me and going, and now he tells us. But like I say, I didn't have them. And, I always think about it, but I never say it. And then once I receive that comment, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, it's a great point, So thank you very much for that comment, by the way. And there was another comment, too, that I meant to tell you as far as when you're welding. When you're welding, cover up the glass because the sparks will hit the glass and it'll melt into the glass. Okay, so that's a great way to ruin the glass if you're welding or even grinding. But definitely for the welding, because those little sparks, they'll just go right into the glass and they'll melt right in and they'll ruin the glass. This is what I got. This is the fire extinguisher that I got. I didn't know what to get. This one does trash, liquids, and electrical equipment. I think that covers everything in this garage. So I wanted to post that really quick because I've been meaning to do it and I apologize that I haven't. Just be careful, and they have welding blankets and things like that are really great. I don't have them, but it's something definitely to have. So I guess it's something that'll be the next thing that I get. But you know me, enough babbling. Game plan. Let's get this quarter panel done. Let's get the outer wheelhouse fixed. Let's get this fixed. So that'll cover this area here. There's a little bit of floor work, very, very little in this car. When I tell you very little floor work, it's like 1 inch by 2 inches in each floor. It's not even on the driver's side. I don't even think there's anything to fix on the driver's side or the driver's rear. Everything is the passenger front, and that was from that cowl leak that we took care of. And there might have been a tiny little spot in the back where the back seat is on each side, like another 1 by 2 inch, something like that. Just really, really tiny spots. This I just got to weld a bead across the top right here because we fixed it from the bottom. I have to fix that little piece right over there in the corner. And there's a couple of, a few little things here and there, but I just want to get all the welding done. Oh, there's another one over here. So I'll fix that. And I think that might be it. But I'll go over the whole car to make sure. And like I say, when I drop these cars off at Joe, I try to get the heavy metal work done and things like that, things that'll take him a long time to get to. So, kind of like fast forwards a little bit. And, I try, as I'm learning on doing these cars, I'm trying to get the car clean and as straight as I can get it before it goes to Joe. And then hopefully Joe will he won't miss anything that I missed. So that's always the game plan, but sometimes it doesn't always go that way, I guess. But you know me, enough babbling. Let's get to work on this quarter. Here we go. I'm sorry, I thought this was recording. Let me show you what I did right over here. I welded this piece. This was already set there. I welded this in. This looks worse than what it is. I welded it, I grinded it, and then I put that seam sealer on it. And then I ran new seam seal along here where that meets that. And this is what it looks like on the inside. If you can see. But the neat thing is this. This is part of the original wheel well, quarter panel lip. What I did was I left it connected to the outer wheelhouse because the outer wheelhouse was a little bit crusty along there, so I cleaned it all up. I cut it out. Then I re-welded this to the outer wheelhouse. Now I have a nice, when I hang the new piece, when I put this piece on, where the slip is, I could plunge weld. I could drill this out and plug weld it into here. And hopefully you won't be able to tell. So, enough babbling. Let's get to work. You know, I'm thinking, let me get that quarter panel up to a nice, comfortable height so I can get it as clean and as straight as I can. I think it'll work out pretty good. Let me see. I think maybe there. No, maybe one more. That's it. Okay. Okay. Bring you guys over here. All right. Hopefully, we could finally get this fixed. It should snug right in there. Not tight enough. Just want to get this in here tight. There we go. Now I'll get this over here. There we go. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. This over here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not hating this at all. Oh my gosh, I'm really happy with that. You know, this is a happy surprise right here. So maybe we can finally get this done today. We'll get this done. I can get this a little tight right here. There. Now that's got to go down a hair. Just a little bit. Right here. You think I would have my glasses? Oh wow, I like that a lot. I'll show you guys in a second. I just want to get this all kind of like set. I put so much seam seal in there. I seam sealed it, then I undercoated it, so this should last quite a while. And I cleaned it all up before I put it in. All right, that's that. Throw another one on here. Throw another one on here. I can't believe we're actually going to get this done. Wow. Let me see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm pretty happy with this right here. Oh, look at that. Boy, if that's not a happy accident right there. Yeah, let me show you guys. What I'll do is I'll weld this right here. I'll grind it down. I'll fill this all in here. That's a nice tight lip right there. Then I'll plug weld it all along in here, all up in here, and all down in there. And hopefully it'll look good. I think it'll look okay. All right, let's get to work. All right, guys, before we start welding, let me just clean this mess up, because this was a mess. I hit that inner well in there with that little wheel, that little polishing wheel. Well, this thing right here, whizzer wheel. I hit it with this. Man, that takes off everything. It works really well. So, oh, you know what else? I've had a few guys asking me what kind of welder I have and what kind of gas I use. Here, let me show you. And I'm not promoting anybody's brand. I used a Lincoln. I had a Lincoln welder, basically the same size as this. It was a flux core welder, so it didn't have gas. You can run them either way. And I ran that welder, it had to be 20 years. Never had a problem with it. A little Lincoln welder, I think it was a 140 meg or something. Flux core. I've used gas welders before, and gas welders, in my opinion, a gas welder is more, you could fine tune a little bit better. It makes a little bit less of a splatter. I noticed with the flux core, you can't, if you have a little fan going or something like that, it tends to blow that little gas that's inside the wire away easier. With gas also, but it's a little harder to do. I just find that this welder right here, for me, it's perfect. It's a 110 and a 220. It comes in as a 220 right here. Here's a 220 plug. So you can plug it into any 220 outlet. Or if you get this extension that comes with it, you could plug it into any 110. That's a 110 outlet with a 30 amp breaker. And that's on a 100-foot extension cord right now. And generally you get a better weld the shorter the cable, the shorter the extension cord. I proved that wrong. I had this welder with a 150-foot extension cord way out to the end of my driveway because I had to weld something up, and it didn't affect it at all. But it really is ideally, if you think about it, it's ideally to have it on the shortest extension cord or no extension cord at all. But well, enough babbling about that. So here's the gas that I use right here. It's 75% argon, 25% carbon dioxide. So it's just, you're really welding with argon, I guess. And I run it at around, I usually run it right around 10 pounds of gas, like 10 pounds of air, 10 to 15. Like when I run it, when it's a consistent weld and I have the trigger pulled in, that'll drop down to 10. But when you stop, then it goes all the way up. The pressure builds up, you know, and then as soon as you hit it again, you'll see this gauge drop down a little bit. So I keep it right around 10. The gas lasts a decent amount. I wish I would have gotten a bigger tank because this tank right here is just too small for me, because you see how much welding I do and it's constant. The one thing I like, another thing I like about this welder, it's got like a tack. You can set it on tack mode, I guess tack setting, 2-second tack or a 4-second tack, if you can see that right there. And you can also hook up an aluminum spool gun, which is right there. I tried using it. I had a tough time with it. I'll get back to it again. I'll try it again. I just don't have the time now to just teach myself on how to weld. And I'm going to teach my son how to weld. My son doesn't know how to weld. So probably in the next week or so, what I'm going to try to do, if it works, I'll try to put the phone in a mask and see if I can put the mask on top so you guys can see what he's doing and what I'm doing, and you can see the mistakes that we're making, I guess. So, but like I say, a lot of people ask me about this welder, and I'm not promoting a brand, no brand at all, because I you know, like I say, my first welder I got from Home Depot. It was a Lincoln welder, and 20 years, not a problem. I sold it, and I think I got what I paid for it, and never had a problem. And it still had the original gun and the cable. This gun and this cable right here, this is like a 10-foot cord. I wish I would have had I think this is a 10, 8 or a 10. But my Lincoln welder, this right here was long, it was 2 feet longer. So that's the only thing. And the difference between that is whether you can leave the welder here or, you know, over there maybe, I guess. But it does come in handy if you're welding and you want to throw the welding gun through the 2 doors onto the other side. You can leave the welder there on the other side. So that was pretty much it on the welding. You know, so, you know, like a few people had asked me, you know, what kind of welder are you using? Is it 110, 220? Some people are asking me the gas, and you know, that's pretty much it. It's a pretty basic welder. I saw it online. I looked at some of the reviews and I liked it. I haven't had a problem with it yet. I haven't had a complaint, and I know I shouldn't say that right now, but believe it or not, you know what else I have? I have one of those Harbor Freight tool, those Lincoln, not a Lincoln, Chicago or something like that. Well, one of their welders, you know, their 110 welders. And believe it or not, in the jam, that thing will get you out of it. So, but enough babbling. Let's get this welded up. We'll get this welded up, all cleaned up in there, so we can move on Lucky and get Lucky done, so we can get Lucky to Joe. Hopefully, it's not going to be tomorrow. Probably, I'm going to say Friday. I think we'll be able to get this car over to Joe on Friday. It's not going to be running or anything like that. It's not going to have brakes or anything. But, you know, Joe doesn't care. Joe can move it around. So these drums are a little tight all around. I'm going to loosen them all up. I'm going to pull the drums off. I'm going to loosen them. And this way the car just rolls nice and easy. Okay, so, well, that's the game plan anyway. So here we go. Let's finish this. You know, let me just hit this really quick. Let me just clean this so I have a nice clean metal to weld to. Oh, boy. It's like enough already, Al. Just weld this thing up so you can move on. I know. Grab this. I'm going to need a flashlight. Alright. You know? Like that. Let's see. All right, I just want to stop and show you where we are. I drilled this out and plug welded it. This all has to be grinded down. I'm going to grind this down. I'm going to make this even so it looks factory. I plug welded it along there, all along there, all up in here. I welded it across here. I forgot this little weld right over here along the bottom. I have to hit that. So I'm going to grind this down so it's going to look like a factory lip. Fingers crossed. And I know this right here. it kind of looks like a drunken sailor. I mean, no offense against drunken sailors, and I thank you for your service, but this thing was staggering all over the place. Look at that. But there's not a ripple in it. It's crazy. So now I just got to make sure I don't overheat it when I grind it down. So I just wanted to stop, show you where we are. Once that's done, I want to fix this right here. And a few of the other little things, and we're all done with the welding for now, I guess. So let me grind this down. Let's keep moving on this, and let's see what we can get done. Here we go. Let me clean this mess up real quick so we're not working in a mess, because we can get rid of a lot of this stuff right here. I'm just going to put it right here, and I'll clean it up later so we can get this done, because I'm probably going to need a lot of this stuff that I'm putting away back. Well, I won't need this. So I don't need any of this stuff right here. But it'll be nice to get all this welding done. Not that it was a lot of welding. It was a little bit of welding. I mean, I guess, no, it wasn't that crazy, I don't think. I'm going to leave these vice grips here. I'm not going to leave this right here. Okay. Let me get my grinder. Let's grind some of this down. If I could find my here we go. So hopefully I won't overheat it, and it's actually, from what I see, from what I feel, it's straight. We got lucky with this. All right, let's see what we can do with it. This is going to take forever. Here we go. All right, before I hit this, I just want to show you this. It's not too bad. Little bit here and there, but I gotta say, it should straighten out really, really nice. It should clean up really nice. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna shift gears for a second before I jump on this. I just want to hit this with a little bit of filler, just to get an idea of what it's gonna look like. All righty, give me a minute. Let me set some filler up, and we'll see what we can do with it. Here we go. All right, let's see what it looks like with a little bit of filler on it. It's going to look like a quarter panel with a little bit of filler on it, I guess. I'm just curious to see how it's going to lay out. You know, it's going to need to get loan boarded out and stuff, but we'll get that. You know, let me put a little bit more in here. Oh, that's too much. That's not a big quarter panel. I think there's a little too much here. Well, they always say, put some on. It's always better to take some off than not have enough on. I don't know how true that is, but I'm just really curious to see how this is going to look. It's getting there. Slowly but surely. It's getting there. I'm actually getting pretty excited now. That quarter panel, I don't know if you've noticed, I've been just procrastinating to get the quarter done. Because it was more than just a quarter. It was getting in a wheelhouse fixed. You know, so it's just a little bit more than just a quarter. But I'm so glad it's done. I'm really so glad that that's done. I just want to see what it's going to look like. All right. I'm wearing this stuff now. I'm cruising through this so quick right now just to see what it's going to look like. Okay, I can't take this no more. It's all over my fingers. Here we go. If you want to make something simple a car, just ask Al. There we go. Let me move you out over there. I think my back's going to be towards you. I hope not. There. Let's see. That's what I should have done right here. I think I use a little too much filler on this. I don't even need to add anything here, really. That's it. What a waste this was right here. That's okay. Why am I wasting my time with this? Okay. We're gonna let that set. Now we're gonna hit this. I'm gonna try to put you in a spot where this is gonna be tough. Let me see where I can put you guys so you can see what I'm doing. Oh, hold on. Maybe here. Alrighty, that's welded in. I'll clean it up a little more. I'll add some excuse me. I'll put some seam sealer on there, and I gotta seam seal this too, where it comes down. But I'll go around. I'll hit all that. Like I said, I'm just trying to get the heavy metal done. Like that. Not that that's heavy metal, but you know, as much as I can get done, you know, that's as quick as we can get this car back. So I'm gonna try to get as much done as I can. All right. So I'm gonna take a break for a minute. I'll be right back. I just have to see. All right, I'm not disappointed at all. This is one coat, and I'm going to take a lot of this down again and straighten it out. I'm not disappointed at all with that. Fingers crossed, it'll look good with some paint on it. I mean, there's still a lot of body work that's got to get done on this car, but it's going to look good. This car's going to look really good. So give me a minute, I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. I just had to wait for that compressor to turn off because it was so loud. But this is pretty much it. You know, I have to grind this down, and I'll hit all of this with undercoating down in there. I'll clean it up nice. And on the inside, I'm going to clean it up on the inside. I'm also going to hit that because they had a factory-like undercoating on the inside of these cars. It was weird. So I'm just going to spray it again, and I don't think you're going to be able to tell that this was changed. I mean, I'll clean this a little bit, but that's about it. So, you know, I think it's coming out okay. So, you know, this is pretty much the end of the day. I didn't get much done today, but boy, this has been a thorn in my side ever since I bought this car into this garage. So, I was gonna hopefully have this car done by tomorrow, but realistically, this car probably be done Friday. Like I say, when I say done, any of the metal work done, just touching up like what I'm doing now, and not going all the way down. You know, like I know this right here, I'm gonna fix this dent right there. There's another one on the other side. I'm gonna try to fix all the little dents that I can before it goes over to Joe. So we'll see. Hopefully, you know, it'll come out good. I think it's gonna come out pretty nice. It's just a really nice, honest car. So, you know, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to keep you posted on what was going on with Lucky, and Lucky's slowly getting there. Alrighty, as always, I appreciate you guys watching, and you guys take care of yourselves.